Good morning, YouTube! This is Sapper and welcome to another episode of Strategos. Today we're going to talk about slingshot tactics. And tactics might be a wrong word in this case. This is more of a trick. This is all about using rules for independent characters and charge movement to relocate some of your models more distance than they are normally allowed to. You can use this trick either in offensive or defensive way, but let's start from the first one because this is the most common way of using it. Let's imagine that we've got one very close combat oriented character and we want him into the hand-to-hand combat as fast as possible. Let's call him Bob. Say hi, Bob. Unfortunately, Bob's Land Rider was destroyed last turn and he is a little bit too far to be able to even declare a charge at his enemy. But don't worry, Bob, we'll think about something that will make your legs a little bit longer. No, Bob, not that way. It's easy, we are going to use your faithful scouts. From now, let's call them the Sling unit. They are in land speed restored, from which they can disembark after moving 6 inches. Now, most important thing. Be sure to place one of the models no more than 2 inches from Bob, and the last one as close to the enemy unit as possible. Now, at the end of the movement phase, because of the unit coherency, Bob joins the Sling unit. After all process, it is now possible for Bob to charge his intended target. Now, in combat phase, the unit decides to charge the halberd. Still a little bit too far for Bob to reach his enemy? Don't worry, remember about 3-inch piling move at his initiative step. That's right. I'm quite sure that scouts didn't like it, but Bob looks happy. So now let's think what we achieved. First of all, we made our chapter master happy, which is always a good thing. Secondly, we were able to destroy an enemy unit. And thirdly, we were able to relocate Bob to the other side of the table, which in normal circumstances would take him at least 3 rounds. And because of the fact that Bob is close combat oriented, it would be 3 lost rounds. Okay, now let's leave Bob with his prey and talk about the other way of using Slingshot, the defensive way. Technique is the same. You have to join your independent character to some other unit to charge enemy that you would normally not be allowed to. But to use it defensively, you have to choose your targets very carefully. Let's say that our Archon, let's call him Luigi, spent a little bit too much time with prisoners and now realize that he is standing all alone in the field in front of some gun line. But cry no more, Luigi, your brave Cabalite warriors are here to help. Thanks for the slingshotting, they can charge one of the tactical squads to the right. Of course, it would be easier to attack the closest unit, but we don't want them to get killed. And I'm not talking here about Cabalites, I'm talking about tacticals. If you will decide to charge the closest unit, all of the Cabalites and Archon will be able to fight. And I know that Luigi is not as combat monster as Bob. What? That's true. But between these 11 models, they might be able to destroy a small tactical squad, and it will again make them vulnerable to shooting. But if we decide to attack the other ones, that will make us to create line made of Cabalites. Thanks for it, less models will get in combat this round, which means less attacks, and will give us the possibility to stand in close combat for all enemies' turn. And if we're lucky, we will be able to destroy this small tactical squad in his face, so we will be able to be active again in our turn. So, this time, thanks for slingshotting, we were able to protect our Archon by moving it away from enemy gun line and hiding him in combat. Besides that, you can of course reverse the slingshot. If you got, for example, very strong hitting unit and some fast independent character, you can use him to shorten a little bit range of charge for this unit, just by putting him in front of it, which will give you a few extra inches. Okay, let's summarize. You can use Slingshot to bring your character into close combat, to redeploy him nearer the enemies. You can use it to hide your less offensive character in combat against your chosen enemies, or to redeploy them as far from enemy as possible. Besides that, you can of course use it to enlarge charge range of some hard hitting units. I hope that this episode will be useful for some of you. Hopefully we'll meet again next week. In next week's episode I'm going to talk a little bit about first formation that is created of units from few codices. You can find it in the 69th episode of White Dwarf, and this is called Adeptus Mechanicus War Convocation. I hope you liked this episode. If you did, please press up the appropriate button. If you didn't, write in comments below what can I do to improve. If you're shy, you can always send it to me on bastionwargaming@gmail.com. Besides YouTube, you can find us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and lately on Twitch. Our links are in the description below. If you haven't yet, please subscribe to the channel for more awesome content like weekly loot, our weekly summary of news from wargaming community, or tournament reports from Polish 40k scene. And this will be all for today, so thank you for watching and stay safe.